Denise. Denise. It's Denise. It's Denise. It's Denise. Denise. It's a podcast party. It's a podcast party. It's a podcast party.
I gotta say, I feel like we're besties now after this. What's up, guys? It's Denise Salcedo. What is up, everybody? Welcome to the show. It is Denise. You are watching Speak Now Pro Wrestling, and we got a very, very interesting, wild night of wrestling to talk about here today. AEW Dynamite, August 24th, and right off the bat, we were already surprised last week when we came on to this show because nobody was expecting for it to be Jon Moxley versus CM Punk for the Undisputed AEW World Championship on an episode of Dynamite, that being tonight. What followed after that, because if you guys recall, that same evening, we were all wondering why CM Punk included Hangman Adam Page into that promo. What followed immediately after that was a series of reports coming out in regards to backstage drama between CM Punk, AEW, Hangman Adam Page, and for the last, literally the last week, it's all we have been talking about. What is going on backstage in AEW? What is going on with CM Punk and Hangman Page? We got people saying this is a work. We got people saying this is not a work. We got all sorts of things to talk about. On top of that, today we had CM Punk who did an interview with Sports Illustrated talk about going off script on Dynamite. We had Tony Khan discussing it on Busted Open Radio, and somehow we're connecting all of that. All of that is going to be incorporated into us talking about the events that unfolded today in CM Punk versus Jon Moxley. Now, before we get to that, because I am going to kick off the show discussing this, and we are going to get into some theories. I'm kind of split on this, everybody, and I can't wait to get into that because I have one way of thinking in terms of what is going down, and then I have another way of thinking that is a little bit polar opposite. And truthfully, I'm conflicted. I will tell you right off the bat that I was completely shocked with the way things unfolded here tonight, and we're going to get that in just a second. But for those of you who are here, get your thoughts and get them in. Let us know, what were your reactions? Is this what you expected? Is this not what you expected? What are your theories? What do you think in regards to all of the reports that have came out in regards to CM Punk and AEW? Do you think this played a role into what we saw here tonight? Let's talk about it. I'm going to kick things off reading the first super chats of the day, and then we're going to go ahead and continue on. If you want to get your question, comment, or statement read on this show, if you want to support this show, please feel free to send in a super chat, and I will make sure to pull that up during the show. I'm going to kick it off with the first super chats that we got, and then get right into it. Brandon Rosen sends in a super chat saying something fishy is going on in AEW. Was CM Punk not as fully healed as we thought? Or are the rumors of Punk's anger with the company true? And have we seen his last match in AEW? Who faces Mox? Page ? Well, Brandon Rosen, you, myself, and pretty much everybody here, unless you know everything, pretty much a lot of us watching here have the exact same questions. And we'll get into that in just a second, but thank you for kicking us off, Brandon Rosen, with the first super chat of the day. We got another one here from Nick Grosso who says, weird show tonight. I'm still confused about the Moxley Punk match. They hyped it up like the biggest match ever and advertised it as the main event till a few minutes before they put it on at 9 and gave us a squash. Well, ladies and gentlemen, enough waiting. Let's get into this Moxley CM Punk match. And again, send in your theories, send in your opinions. And if you do send in a super chat, we'll make sure to read those. All right. So, Lord Jesus, I'm literally thinking to myself, where do we even begin? So let's begin at the beginning with this match, at least for today. So I kind of ran down earlier what was going on as of what happened last Wednesday, where we were at last Wednesday, already surprised that this match was even going to happen because a lot of us were expecting it to happen at All Out. There was no other indication that this was going to happen on a Dynamite. Okay, so then, as I mentioned, all of the reports that came out with CM Punk and Adam Page and the beef and just, the stuff that Dave put out, the stuff that Sean put out, there was just a lot to kind of take from those reports. And so that's something that everybody has been discussing. Well, now, so we go into today's match and I'm literally thinking, okay, well, at this point, I don't know what to expect from CM Punk, Jon Moxley, but my theory, or rather my prediction for this was, and I remember saying this last week too, I thought they're either going to have CM Punk win and just kind of pick off their plans, like pick up wherever they were, wherever they were planning to go prior to CM Punk's foot injury. Then I thought, well, maybe they want to swerve the fans a little bit and, have Jon Moxley actually win the championship so that maybe things won't seem too predictable, right? So I kind of was thinking along those lines. All right. And then I know a lot of people were wondering, are we going to be seeing MJF here tonight? There was a bunch of people on last week's show that were throwing out MJF's name. I'm sure a couple of people were even expecting it here tonight. There is no MJF as of right now, no MJF on today's show or anything like that. But so I'm thinking here, okay, CM Punk, Jon Moxley is, I thought it's going to be a competitive match. We're going to get whoever's the champion, it's going to be fine, whatever, right? I wasn't thinking anything too crazy was going to happen. So then we get to the top of the hour and they announce on commentary that CM Punk versus Jon Moxley is going to go up next. I look at the clock and I'm like, wait, what? And all of a sudden, we realize that CM Punk, Jon Moxley is not going to be the main event of the night. And I'm thinking, why are they, what do you mean that they're not going to be the main event of the night? First and foremost, like this match shouldn't even be on AEW Dynamite. This match should be at All Out. Why is this match happening at the top of the hour and not the main event? So then I'm thinking, okay, fine. I wasn't too crazy about the idea of not putting this match as the main event. And the reason for that being is that not only do you have two big stars in CM Punk and Jon Moxley, but also it's for the undisputed AEW World Championship, right? It doesn't get any big of a deal. It doesn't get bigger than that. Like that's the big deal. So I'm thinking, okay, fine. Chillax, Denise. It's fine. Maybe they want to do a 1 hour draw. Maybe they just want to have a really long competitive match and they want to make sure they don't run out of time. So that's what I was thinking. So I was like, okay, fine. They want to make sure they don't run out of time. Was there ways to work around this? Sure. But that's what I was thinking. So then the match starts. And instantly, the first thing that I noticed was some mixed reactions. There were some mixed reactions for CM Punk. There was the crowd felt very 50-50 to me, where, some people were going for Punk, some for Moxley, etc. As this match begun, there was a moment. I don't even know when. Maybe it was right at the beginning because right at the top, you see Moxley kind of get the best of CM Punk like instantly. Like he gets him in the corner and like starts giving him a bunch of rights right away. Within moments later, we see CM Punk start to sell the foot injury. And at a little bit before that moment, I thought, what if this was a really quick match? But I thought it was just a quick thought. I didn't put much thought into that. It's just a quick float away thought. So then CM Punk selling his foot injury. This continues on. We see CM Punk at one point tried to give a high round kick to Jon Moxley. It ends up costing him. It ends up going against him in this match. So we see Jon Moxley twist the foot. We see him work that foot. We see him end up getting CM Punk with the lariat. He then gets up with a bunch of elbows, and then he finally hits the Death Rider. Not once, not twice, and then lo and behold, what we got was pretty much a squash match, okay? We did not get that competitive match that a lot of us thought that we were going to get. Instead, we got this. And let me tell you, when that 3 count hit, I thought, my God, what the F is going on, okay? Because even when Jon Moxley was beating up CM Punk and working the foot of CM Punk and this and that, and they were pushing, the fact that CM Punk was hurt and all of this, I thought, you know what, maybe someone's gonna come in, maybe someone's gonna, I don't know, something's gonna happen, right? I was thinking maybe there would be some sort of like interference with something that maybe would help CM Punk cheat, or I don't know. I was expecting something else to happen. I wasn't expecting the final 3 count with Jon Moxley getting the 3 count in this manner. Now, I tweeted this out there in terms of like the shock, in terms of the surprisement. It wasn't necessarily shocking that Jon Moxley won, because you know what? Like I figured, okay, they might want to go, they might want to go a non-predictable direction with having Jon Moxley win. That's perfectly fine. We all love Jon Moxley. That's great. But it was the way this all went down, where we were all expecting a banger, a classic of a match with these 2 huge stars for this big deal of a match, and a match that we weren't expecting to be on Dynamite. And then it ended up being this. So afterwards, CM Punk is carried off. He's injured. He's carried away. So now, theories, predictions, and how we felt about this. So I'm going to start this off by saying, as I mentioned earlier, I'm seeing this in 2 ways. One, this could either signify the end of CM Punk and AEW based on the reports and based on what we've been hearing this past week about, CM Punk threatening to leave AEW, the beef with Hangman Adam Page, all of that, right? Like, because of those things that we know or that we've read, etc. In the way that this felt to me, it almost kind of felt like, I don't know, like we were not going to be seeing CM Punk for a while. Like, this kind of felt a little bit like a goodbye. So that's where I was kind of leaning into in regards to all of this. But then, so I'm thinking, okay, either that's what's going on, and maybe this proves that, what was said about the backstage drama is true. Maybe this lends more to there's something much more going on that, us, the fans, don't know about. Instantly, that's where my brain, my reaction went right to that. Now, the other thing that I was thinking about was this could actually end up being a great story. So let's just say that, because CM Punk today, he did an interview with Sports Illustrated, and he said that everything's fine. He's 100% fulfilled in AEW. He's perfectly okay. He said something along, I'm forgetting what he said verbatim, but he pretty much said he's creatively fulfilled, that there's a bunch of rumors out there, and that he's just trying to sell tickets for a good show. And this was all in regards to him being asked about going off script on AEW Dynamite last week and addressing the Hangman Adam Page situation. So that's what he said. He's just trying to sell tickets. He's 100% creatively fulfilled with AEW, and that's that. Okay, so I'm thinking, all right, well, I'm not going to just not believe CM Punk. If this is what he's saying, then okay, that's his truth. And he also said that there was, that what was being put out there was only one side of the story. So anyways, that's what CM Punk had said in that interview with Sports Illustrated. On top of that, so that's what I'm thinking. Okay, maybe the reason why they did this match the way that they did is because they're going to go with more of a long-term story. Like, this could be great, right? Because it can happen. The champion could definitely come back. It's a believable story. The champion who was previously injured could come back and then realize that maybe he just wasn't 100%, okay? Maybe that's what it is. That's the story they're telling. He's not the same guy. And then obviously the interim champion and Jon Moxley, who's been active, destroys him. This could be a great story. And that is if everything behind the scenes is fine and dandy. If everything's legitimately fine and dandy, I do think that this could be a potentially great story. Now, if things aren't fine and dandy backstage in AEW with CM Punk and all of that, then you got me a little bit worried here, because I most definitely do not want CM Punk to be done with AEW, okay? And I hope that all is good. Just don't freaking know what's happening, guys. All right, so let's get some theories. What are your reactions? What do you think about this? Where are your train of thought? Let's get some thoughts in here. Man, what a day. Reggie Simmons sends in a super chat. Once again, guys, if you want to get your question, comment, or statement, opinion, your rant, whatever it is, you can send it in a super chat. I'll make sure to read these. Reggie Simmons says, I'm confused as fuck. Please unconfuse me. What the fuck happened? Great episode of Dynamite. And somebody wrote to me on Twitter, well, at least it got us all talking. And that it did, but this could either be something great or something freaking awful. Like, we could go either direction, and only time is going to tell what actually is going to go, what's actually going to happen. But thank you so much to Reggie Simmons for sending in that super chat. I appreciate you very much. It helps support the show to have your support. Traverse Black says Thunder Rosa's injury was genuinely heartbreaking. We'll get to that in just a second because that's obviously something that we are going to cover on this show. Taylor Cannon sends in a super chat saying, hey, Denise, big congratulations on the wedding. Wishing you and your husband all the best. Punk versus Mox was surprisingly short. I wonder why. Exactly what has us all talking about here today. Estilo Latino sends in a super chat saying, ha ha ha, loved it. Undisputed champ Moxley, let's effing go. I don't think anybody here is bummed out that Jon Moxley won. I don't think so. Like, I think everybody for the most part has no problem with Jon Moxley actually being the champion. It's more so of how things went down, and does this essentially solidify that, you know what, there may be a bigger issue backstage in AEW, or are they just telling a really great story? Who the hell knows? Estilo Latino, thank you so much for sending in that super chat as well. Let me catch up with your guys' comments here and see what people are saying and make sure I didn't miss anything. Let me scroll. Okay, here we go. We got another super chat from Christopher Marino who says, CM Punk is working us all. He walked on WWE in Cleveland, and where they were tonight. Oh yeah, Cleveland, says Christopher Marino. Thank you so much for also sending in that super chat here today. And sorry, guys, I'm just trying to catch up with everything, make sure I didn't miss anything. Okay, cool. I'm going to get some more thoughts in here. We got people asking, why not both? That could be interesting too, because one of the things that did cross my mind was, okay, so let's say, I don't know, let's just say, and this is just a theory, guys. This is just a theory. I'm just trying to think of what the hell is going on, right? Like, we're all thinking stuff. So let's just say that CM Punk going off script and, saying what he said about Hangman Page and all of that, right? While CM Punk said he was just trying to sell tickets, there are multiple reports that say that that was definitely not planned, not meant to happen. So I'm thinking to myself, if I'm a boss, if I'm Tony Khan, and I'm like, I need to put my foot down, right? You just can't have people running off script and not doing what you're supposed to do, right? Like, you're a boss, right? So I'm thinking, like, if I were Tony Khan, what would I do? Like, how would I make sure that doesn't happen again? So then I thought, what if this is just a theory, okay? I do not freaking know. Then I thought, like, what if they suspended CM Punk? What if this is a suspension or something? And that's why the events played out the way they did. I have no earthly idea, but that was another thing, another potential thing that crossed my mind. But then at the same time, it's like CM Punk is a big freaking star. I wouldn't necessarily probably go that direction. So who the hell knows? But we got a super chat here from Sheldon Jackson who says, I'm good with Mox winning the title tonight because it feels like the title means something, is on TV often and actually competing, not just promos. But here's the thing though, like CM Punk didn't get the opportunity to actually do that. CM Punk got injured very quickly after becoming AEW World Champion for the first time. This has definitely gone an entirely different course. I mean, we went from this moment where, CM Punk winning the championship was literally like oh my God, emotional, teary. I can't believe he's champion after, of a major promotion after all these years and everything that went down in his life. And then for him to get hurt in such, in the way that he did, it was kind of like, I felt horrible seeing CM Punk have to, basically step away for a bit. I felt awful seeing that. And I feel like for the most part, everybody was kind of along those lines where they were like, damn, that sucks. CM Punk finally got his moment. And then unfortunately shit happens and that was taken away from him. So I don't feel like he really got the opportunity to do that. Prior to that, Hangman Page, like, I know that there was a lot of criticism about him as champion. There was, a couple people that, there's going to be groups of people, you can't satisfy everybody, that were not fans of Hangman Page's title run. I actually was. I loved his hard-hitting, bloody matches that he was having. I was a fan of that. So I don't think that CM Punk as champion would have just been just promos. I don't think he got like a fair enough opportunity given things out of his control and out of Tony Khan's control to really go out there and be the champion that he probably, wanted to be. I highly doubt this is the way that CM Punk thought things were going to play out, We got a super chat here from Roberto Arsenal who says Punk is working us all. The thing is that with today's audience, there's zero patience. They want the payoff now. Will Ospreay versus Omega next week? ? Yes. We'll talk about the ending of the show in just a couple of moments. But see, I am torn on all of this. There are people that always think that everything is a work, and that's always going to be a disagreement amongst people. Like, we cannot all unite. We can all get together and believe things, right? I don't think it is. That's my personal opinion. But in terms of something could be legit and things could change as the days progress, as things go down. Just because something was something one day doesn't mean you can't fix it and go on from there, right? So that's kind of where I'm at. And in terms of like the belt meaning something, AEW has done a really great job at keeping their championship important and all of that. That's the one thing that I do think, one of the things, that I do think AEW has done very well is, keep their championship meaning something. Thank you so much to Roberto Arsenal for also sending in this super chat. We got another one from Blake who says, I was shocked when the finish happened. I worked so hard. I hope this is a heel turn coming for Punk. If this is a heel turn coming for CM Punk down the line, it feels very natural. I think it would feel very natural to actually have CM Punk as a heel right now, especially based on the reactions that we got this evening. It's definitely a totally different reaction from when we were getting, like I said, when he had just became champion. It was two totally different emotions that we were having, like CM Punk the champion, finally. And then shit happens, and now we're here where the crowd is kind of like 50-50, But thank you so much to Blake for also sending in your thoughts here today. I appreciate that very much. We have another one from Mike C. By the way, for those of you who are watching and want to help support the show, keep me funded. F4W Online does allow me to keep 100% of the proceeds from super chats after YouTube takes part of my money, but whatever. You are more than welcome to send in a super chat to get your comment read or your rant or your emotions. We're here for you. I don't even know. Mike C. I was going to say something really cheesy and then I backed out. I was about to say, I'm your wrestling friend, your wrestling buddy. And then I heard it and I was like, no, Denise, that's super freaking lame. Stop talking. Mike C. sends in a super chat saying, this reeks of Punk drama and he's being written out. That was my initial That was my initial instinct. That was my initial thought. So I can't even completely disregard that because that was the first place my mind went. Mike C. Thank you so much to Mike C. for sending that super chat in as well. We have another one here from Matt Logan who says, frankly, a lot of people missed that while Moxley was celebrating in the crowd, camera zoomed in on Punk looking back as he was carried up the ramp. I think I did. I don't know if I missed that or if I just was. I know that I missed that because if not, I would have remembered it. But I know that I missed that because I still kind of had this like jaw-dropping what the fuck's going on moment, okay? Because this was definitely, like I said, I envisioned a lot of things happening, this working out a lot of different ways. This was definitely not the way that I was expecting it to go down. And I know that a lot of people did kind of feel disappointed with today's match. And I kind of did feel disappointed because, I was expecting this competitive match that, felt like a big deal, was promoted as a big deal. And then I didn't really feel that we necessarily got that. And I'm looking right now because I put out a poll and we actually got the final results in for my poll here. So I asked people, how did you feel about CM Punk versus Jon Moxley tonight? So here is the poll that I put out. And a whopping 59%. So that's a pretty good amount there. 59%. This is 11,000 votes. 59% just put confused as fuck, meaning that a lot of people do not know what's going on. And this obviously pertains to all of the reports that have been coming out this earlier this week. We got 15% that said they hated it. We got 6% that said they liked it, and 20% said that they loved it. So it's more so that people are really just confused, and I think a lot of people don't know how to feel because we just don't know. Matt Logan, thank you so much for the super chat as well. I appreciate it. All right, let's continue on. We got another super chat from Blake who says, do you think that Punk was being punished for last week, or is Mox the better champ? It's hard to say who's the better champ because didn't get to see CM Punk as an actual champ. Could he be being punished? I don't know. That was something that crossed my mind. I'm not going to lie to you and tell you it didn't cross my mind. It did. It did cross my mind. But do you punish a star like CM Punk? I emoji. Blake, thank you very much for the super chat. I wish I had better answers for you. That was the one thing that I was thinking about too during this. As I was coming into this, to do this show, I kept thinking to myself, dude, I got to have an opinion. And I'm feeling like the rest of you here right now that are tuning into the show, hoping for some answers. I feel the exact same way that you guys do. All right, guys. Let's read some non-super chat comments here just to make sure. This is from Dude Tangelo who says CM Punk would have quit and walked out before doing a job like that. No chance he was punished. We got a lovely super chat here from Sam Fines. Thank you so much for sending that in. I really appreciate you. And then let's see what else we got here. This is from Dan who says, they could have still punished Punk, but had a competitive match. I completely agree. I think that they could have definitely done here's the thing. They could have done a competitive match and then still involved the injury, played the injury, the foot injury into the match. You could have still had a lengthy match and then just, had CM Punk oh my God, he's trying to persevere through this foot injury. I don't remember how long the match was. It was a couple minutes. It wasn't very long. It could have been a little bit longer and maybe still told that exact story. But like I said, this could be very good or very bad. Right now, I think we're kind of just, question the mark says it's all storyline, patience. I feel like right now, we just don't know what to think because of everything that's been reported. That's why. And we could really go either direction. This could be legit CM Punk's over with and done, or this could be a great story. Leonard Aarons III says, the back and forth that went down between Omega and Ospreay has me thinking next week is just the first chapter of a tale that ends in January. So, I was expecting at the end of this night to have more answers regarding Jon Moxley, because one of the questions that we haven't even touched on right now is that we are 11 days away from All Out. Okay, that's not very much. Okay, we are 11 days away from All Out. We don't know who Jon Moxley's opponent is going to be of yet. So I was thinking maybe we're going to find out by tonight. Maybe there's going to be some sort of indication of who Jon Moxley is going to be wrestling at All Out. And right now it feels like the window of possibilities is a little bit if it's not CM Punk, Jon Moxley, it's got to be something as good to fulfill, to fill that void, right? To replace that star power of CM Punk and Jon Moxley. It's got to be good. So who Jon Moxley's facing at All Out is yet to be seen. But in regards to what Leonard Aarons III sent in on this super chat, it did have me thinking we still don't know what's going to happen in this tournament, right? We don't know. It's not a given that United Empire is going to win. It's not a given that the Elite's going to win. It's not a given. Hell, all we know, this could be leading to a match at All Out. I don't know, because they did definitely, it's not just that we're going to be seeing the trios match. Obviously, we're going to be getting the trios match next week, but there's also the possibility of Kenny and Will Ospreay, right? Thank you, Leonard Aarons III, for sending that super chat in. I appreciate you. All right, so let's go ahead and continue on from here. Let's move on from this. And let's go ahead and get into, we got so much to talk about, guys. We literally spent about half hour of the show talking about the Jon Moxley CM Punk situation. All right, so now that we discussed that, let's go all the way to the top of the show and discuss the Chris Jericho, Daniel Garcia, Bryan Danielson story that we're seeing unfold here today. So Chris Jericho comes out and Daniel Garcia comes out, and they have this like back and forth because the whole thing here is, Daniel Garcia had a pretty star-making performance at last week's show in that 2 out of 3 falls against Bryan Danielson, and we raved about that. A lot of people really raved about that, and that kind of ended with, there being a little bit of friction between Chris Jericho and Daniel Garcia. So this also led to is he a pro wrestler? Is he going to go the pro wrestler route? Is he going to go the sports entertainer route? And so they really played that up last week and the week before that, and they even continued it on here today. So the whole thing here is that Daniel is conflicted. Like, he doesn't know what to do. He basically tells Chris Jericho that he ruined his moment in this match that he had with Bryan Danielson, that he ruined this moment because he knew that Bryan Danielson was his hero, and he ruined that moment by getting involved. So you kind of had that back and forth there. Chris Jericho tried to make excuses for Daniel Garcia and tried to get him to make an apology, and he clearly didn't want to do that. Bryan Danielson comes out. They both try to force him to make a decision. The crowd's chanting, "You're a wrestler." I love that chant. And then Daniel ends up shoving Chris Jericho, and then he finally just snaps, and he's like, "I can't do it. I can't choose," and he bounces. He's gone. So after this, we get this like exchange between Chris Jericho and Bryan Danielson. And so this all leads, because Chris Jericho is pissed off that people say that Bryan Danielson is the best wrestler in the world, and he doesn't like that. So they go back and forth, and this is all leading to a match that's already been announced: Chris Jericho versus Bryan Danielson at All Out. Now, the last time that these two had a singles match with one another was literally back like in 2013, I believe, on like Raw or something. They've had, and I was reading this and I didn't even write it down, but anyways, I believe they had like one Raw singles match. Then they had like one NXT singles match. They had like a house show match together, like one-on-one. And all those times Chris Jericho defeated Daniel Bryan then. And so who knows what's going to go down at All Out, but I think that this is going to be a really good match, and I'm really looking forward to this one. Like, this to me is a match that I'm legitimately looking forward to. So this is going to be pretty good. And will Daniel Garcia play a role in this? And in the actual match? Possibly. Let's see what people we got here saying. This is from 554K, who says, "Yeah, I was not expecting that quit match, but I wonder if it's part of what's the meeting that Tony Khan had before the show." Yeah, so Fightful Select reported that Tony Khan had a talent meeting at the top earlier today, and they also put out some of the details of what was talked about. A lot of, they spoke about contracts, talent, the tampering situation. They spoke about people's roles in the company, and, just there being better communication between Tony Khan and the talent. And that was some of the notes that was reported on Fightful Select. But thank you so much to 554K. And then we did have Max Caster as well, who brought it up later on in the show. After this, we got Jay Lethal versus Dax Harwood. This was a good match, guys. This is the match that I think we were expecting here. I think the highlights of this were really just like the grappling, the countering back and forth. Dax Harwood really going after Jay Lethal with those chops that were absolutely brutal. I love the way that Dax Harwood got in that sharpshooter. Everything that led to that sharpshooter, oh, it was beautiful. I really, really love this. Sanjay Dutt gets involved, and he ends up accidentally getting hit by Dax Harwood with his head, so he ends up getting headbutted. We end up having quite a few near falls that follow this. In the end, we see Lethal get the win because he pulls the tights, and I thought this was a fun match, but we got a big announcement after this, and the announcement that we got is that the Motor City Machine Guns are going to be teaming up with Jay Lethal to take on FTR and Wardlow at All Out. And for those of you who know the Motor City Machine Guns, Chris Sabin and Alex Shelley, you guys know that they are a respected team. They are some of the guys that have inspired so many wrestlers that have come after them. So this is a really cool moment to kind of get to see them on AEW. So I was very happy to see that announcement there. We got a super chat here from JJ Hill who says, whether MJF comes back or not, would it be fair to say that his character is the Donald Trump of wrestling if Trump actually participated in health education, basic grooming, and critical thinking? Oh man, look, I didn't put those pieces together. I didn't connect, MJF with Donald Trump. I get like the hatred part of it, but I don't think I can see those two characters, not characters, but the character of MJF essentially correlating with Donald Trump. I don't really see them correlating that much. Like, dude, it's just different. I can't put them together. But thank you so much to JJ Hill for sending in this super chat. All right, guys, and let's go ahead and continue on from here. So after this, let's get into some bad news, actually. And I'm very, very bummed out about this, guys. But you know what? It's pro wrestling. This stuff happens, okay? Thunder Rosa is injured. She is stepping down as champion, but they're going to implement an interim AEW Women's World Champion. So she's technically still champion, but they're going to be putting an interim AEW World Champion. She was, very, very sad during this promo announcing this injury. And it sucks. It really does suck for her because Thunder Rosa's run as champion has been a very, I would say, heavily discussed topic, mainly because I don't really think a lot of us thought that the way that it played out was the way that it was going to go. The moment when, we waited so long to see Thunder Rosa become champion, and it was this very exciting thing. Like, man, she'd worked so hard to get to this point. She worked so hard to get to the top of the mountain. Her feud with Britt Baker and everything that they did, culminating finally into Thunder Rosa getting her moment and becoming champion. A lot of us were very, very excited about it. I remember that night that we were on here, discussing the whole situation with Thunder Rosa. We were so excited, right? And I thought, hell yeah, she's going to be a fighting champion, this and that. But unfortunately, I don't think they featured her enough on AEW. Like, truthfully, they could have featured her more. She is the she is the AEW Women's World Champion, and I do feel that they lacked in actually featuring Thunder Rosa on the show. And then obviously, it seemed like maybe they heard some of that, and then they incorporated the whole thing with Toni Storm. They put together Thunderstorm, and we saw them team for a bit, and then this was all leading up to their match at All Out, and unfortunately, that's now not going to happen. Instead, what we are going to be getting is a four-way match to crown the interim AEW Women's World Championship, and the four women that have been announced are Toni Storm, Britt Baker, Jamie Hayter, and Hikaru Shida. Now, in terms of who's going to win, personally, I think it's very obvious that it's going to be Toni Storm. I think it's Toni Storm's time to be champion. I think it's very clear that it's going to be Toni Storm. I know a lot of people are rooting for Jamie Hayter because I did see a lot of people on Twitter write that they're rooting for Jamie Hayter. But I think based on the story and where they're going with all of this, it feels pretty obvious that it's going to be Toni Storm. And then, have her do her thing. And then whenever Thunder Rosa is back, they can circle back to that Thunder Rosa Toni Storm match. So that one kind of feels a little bit straightforward to me. But it sucks. Wishing Thunder Rosa the best. I messaged Thunder Rosa and, basically wished her a speedy recovery and show her some love, guys, on social media. Seriously, she's a good person. She does a lot of great stuff. And, it does suck that she got injured and, can't be on the show and, defend her championship and all of that. All right, guys, let's go ahead and move on from here. But once again, if you want to get your question, comment, or statement read on this show, you're more than welcome to send in a super chat at any point. And it does help me out, help support the show. On top of that, if you guys have been enjoying today's stream and you're having a good time, I hope you are. I am live here 3 times a week. On Tuesdays, I'm here to talk about NXT 2.0. Wednesdays, every Wednesday, I am here to talk about AEW Dynamite. It's my favorite show of the week to discuss because we always have crazy nights. Today being Exhibit A, really. And then Fridays, I'm here to talk about SmackDown and Rampage. I will be here on Friday to talk about those shows. So it's going to be a good time. But now let's get into Billy Gunn versus Colton Gunn, father versus son. Max Caster does his little raps. I love those. I really love those. We got some funny lines today. Max Caster said, quote, rapped quote rather. The Gun Club just turned into a stupid problem. Young Billy, I'm thinking you should have used a condom. Y'all about to get a savage beating so bad they gotta call another talent meeting. Good shit there. Good shit. We ended up getting kind of a funny moment here. So we end up getting Malcolm. He ends up Stokely Hathaway, excuse me. Sorry, guys. Malcolm Bivens is still at the top of my head because I was talking about him so often for NXT. Stokely Hathaway, he ends up hitting Max Caster with his boombox. This causes a distraction. After this distraction, Colton utilizes the opportunity to literally low blow his own father. You heard me right. He low blowed his own father, hit the Colt 45, and got the win. Honestly, like this story, it's funny because you guys know if you've been coming each and every single week to the show, you know I haven't been like the biggest fan of this story, but I will give them credit. I will give them kudos because every week that this goes by, I'm liking it slightly a little bit more. And I'm not going to lie to you, when I popped when Colton gave his own father a low blow. Think about that. Seriously, think about that. Also, there was a funny moment. So there was a funny moment where Taz was asked that he would ever get in the ring with Hook, and he said no because Hook would essentially like gas him out, that sort of thing. Apparently, I was told, now I do not know for sure because I do not have Fight TV. I watch on a different platform. I was told that on the Fight TV stream, I don't know the exact wording of how this happened, but apparently the Twitter told me on the comments that Jim Ross has Taz about scissoring Hook. I don't know, guys. Apparently that's what went down on the Fight TV stream. So if you watched on the Fight TV stream, you know what I'm talking about. If you didn't watch on the Fight TV stream, you're just like, WTF, what's going on there? We got a super chat here from Magnum Wait who says, very bummed about the Thunder Rosa news. Her win was one of my favorite matches this year. Also a bit of a shame that it's going to be overshadowed by the CM Punk Mox stuff. Definitely. Like everybody today is only going to want to talk about CM Punk, Jon Moxley for the next couple of days. We're all just going to want to talk about this situation. Thank you so much, Magnum Wayne, for sending in this super chat. I really appreciate it. All right, now let's go ahead and continue on. Everybody here is laughing about that comment that Jim Ross said. All right, let's continue on from here. We got Britt Baker versus KiLynn King. Baker got a lot of heat, obviously, because of this, the sports stuff. I'm not a big sports fan, so I can't even break it down to you. So I ain't even gonna act like I know. But anyways, this ended up being a rather quick match. Britt Baker ends up winning with the lockjaw. But really, what I want to talk about is KiLynn King, guys. I really feel like we're starting to see the rise of the mother effing king, KiLynn King. This, she's been getting a lot more TV opportunities. She wrestled Toni Storm last week, and then here she is, wrestling Britt Baker on TV. Like, this isn't just AEW Dark or Dark Elevation. No, this is AEW Dynamite, the flagship show. So I'm very happy for KiLynn. I really adore her, guys. I did an interview with her a while back, actually, not too long ago, earlier this year. I think. Yeah, earlier this year. And her story is tremendous, guys. She grew up with 5 brothers. Literally, she was always like doing like dance and sports. She does like Kwamakan karate and all of this. She does jujitsu. She does Muay Thai. She does a lot, okay? And she really just like so many wrestlers, sacrificed absolutely everything to pursue this dream of pro wrestling. And she really goes into detail about that. So getting to see her kind of get these moments, it's really cool because you know that, the work pays off at the end of the day. And she did, one of the things that's been different for KiLynn King this year is that I feel like she's really pushed things into she's switched gears to another level. She's been like wrestling nonstop all over the indie. She's literally a champion in multiple promotions. And I get to see her kick ass every time at Mission Pro Wrestling. So that's always really, really cool. So good for her to get this opportunity. After this, Britt Baker calls out Toni Storm. Toni Storm comes out, but she gets attacked from behind by Jamie Hayter. And then Shida runs in with her kendo stick and basically scares them off. Just basically promoting that four-way match between those girls. Now, we already talked about everything CM Punk, Jon Moxley related. So let's move on to Ricky Starks. So one of the things that also, if you missed the Jon Moxley CM Punk conversation and you just tuned in, you can rewind and just listen to that portion. But so one of the things that the CM Punk Moxley events that occurred tonight, it kind of took away from the rest of the show for me. Like it took me a bit to get refocused and kind of just get back into the show. And so I love Ricky Starks. You guys know I love Ricky Starks. I put him over every single damn time that I get the opportunity. And I'm so sorry, but I completely could not even, I was watching the promo, but it was like I wasn't listening because I was so caught up in what had happened with Moxley and CM Punk. But basically what this all led to, because you guys know he's been, feuding with Powerhouse Hobbs ever since he turned on him. And this is pretty much leading to the official match between them at All Out. So we are officially getting Ricky Starks and Powerhouse Hobbs. So sorry for Ricky Starks. He was put in a spot where everybody was probably checking Twitter and seeing what people were saying and what was happening. So he was put in that spot for the day. So anyways, before I get to the main event, everybody, I'm going to run down the matches that were announced for Rampage, Dynamite, and what the AEW All Out card is looking like right now. So the AEW Rampage card for this Friday, we continue the AEW World Trios Championship. We're going to have the House of Black versus the Dark Order. That should be fun. Quick prediction, House of Black. Sammy Guevara and Ty Mello versus Ortiz and Ruby Soho. Quick update. Here's a Denise YouTube channel scoop for y'all. My next guest on Friday that I'm going to be interviewing is going to be Ty Mello. As you guys know, Ty Conti, who's now Ty Mello. I'm so excited because I have been trying to get this interview with her for like the longest freaking time. And I finally got all the stars to align. And that interview is happening this Friday. And hopefully nothing goes wrong. Hopefully they don't cancel on me or anything like that. Knock on wood or knock on my cell phone. But I am going to be interviewing Ty on Friday. So I cannot wait. If you do have any questions or anything you want me to ask her, tweet me and let me know. But that interview, as long as everything goes well, that interview will be happening on Friday. TNT Championship on Rampage. Wardlow versus Ryan Nemeth. Jade Cargill is set to speak. There's going to be an ROH World Championship match. Claudio Castagnoli defending the title against Dustin Rhodes. I'm expecting that to be a really good match. AEW Dynamite's lineup for next week so far is going to be Bryan Danielson versus Jake Hager. Toni Storm and Hikaru Shida versus Dr. Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter. That should be fun. And the AEW All Out card, as of right now, we are 11 days away and we got so many match announcements today. First and foremost, Bryan Danielson versus Chris Jericho. The AEW World Trios Championship Finals. We got the AEW Interim Women's World Championship Fatal 4-Way. Toni Storm, Britt Baker, Jamie Hayter, and Hikaru Shida. Jungle Boy versus Christian Cage. FTR and Wardlow versus Jay Lethal and the Motor City Machine Guns. The Casino Ladder match. And the AEW World Tag Team Championships between Swerve and Our Glory defending their titles against the Acclaimed. And then we also have Ricky Starks versus Powerhouse Hobbs. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 matches. And we still don't know what the AEW World Championship match is going to be. We'll find out hopefully in the next 11 days. But now let's go ahead and get into our main event. Honestly, what can I say other than the so we had Aussie Open and Will Ospreay. Also, I just interviewed Aussie Open this past week. Oh, such fun guys. Like, they are so funny. Like, low-key, they're funny as hell. Anyway, so United Empire versus the Death Triangle, Pac, Penta, and Fenix. And this match was what it was. It was fast-paced, a great tag team action, Death Triangle flying over the top rope. I loved all of the fast, like the way that they did all the strikes, and it was so fast. I really loved all of that. I loved the moment where they were all in the center of the ring, kind of going at each other, and then it led to both Pac and Will Ospreay doing the Poison Ranas. I thought that was freaking awesome. Just the interactions between Pac and Will Ospreay were legitimately freaking cool. I had a great time, especially seeing all of that lead into Will Ospreay doing the cutter. It just looked very great. Fenix obviously did he did his tornado on Fletcher. We saw, sorry, my notes are terrible. Jesus. What the hell did I wrote? I wrote black, brown on Will. Will knees up, tries to get sober, not it. Oh, okay. I'm like, wait, what portion of the match was that? We did see a reverse hurricanrana from Pac. We see Pac do a moonsault that looked freaking killer because he had to get his like balance like perfectly on the turnbuckle. That looked pretty cool. And then we get a moment where Pac thinks that he's unboxing Kip Sabian in the crowd, but it ends up being a kid. And then Kip Sabian attacks him from behind. And in the end, we do see Will Ospreay and Aussie Open get the win. So United Empire continues on in this tournament. And we are going to be getting them against the Bucks and Kenny Omega. And instantly right after, we got a confrontation between the two. And like somebody said earlier in one of the super chats, it definitely feels like we're going to get more than just that trios match. And who knows, maybe we'll get Kenny and Will Ospreay sooner than later. But that was your main event. Let's get some final thoughts in here, guys. Any last calls? If you want to get any final super chats in, this is your opportunity. This is the last call. We got a super chat here from Blake who says, do you think that this is not long enough for a build for I'm assuming you mean All Out? I feel like the stories are being rushed. Not really, because if you look at this, Ricky Starks and Powerhouse Hobbs, that has been a feud in the making. Like, it's been weeks since we've talked about this, weeks ago when that turn happened, and it was bound to happen, right? Swerve in Our Glory and the Acclaimed, that one, like, so. Jungle Boy and Christian Cage is another one that has been a long time going. The Fatal 4-Way, circumstances changed. That's fine. Bryan Danielson, Chris Jericho, they've been, in the same overall picture, but more so that one did feel a little bit more abrupt. But there are a couple of matches here that, they've been telling these stories for a bit. But I get what you mean, though. It's like a little less than half the card. So that's where we're at. But thank you so much to Blake for also sending in this super chat as well. Alrighty, guys. And I think I am pretty much all caught up. Actually, we got another super chat from Sheldon who says, thoughts on Danielson not really interacting with the Blackpool Combat Club since he's come back from injury. Also, give me United Empire versus BCC. I just think right now maybe they're, they're friends, they're stable, but they don't gotta be like stuck to each other all the time, right? Like, they're all doing their own thing. I think that's fine. It's not something that I've been like, what's going on there? I think it's fine. And yeah, I do agree with you on the United Empire and the Blackpool Combat Club. Brandon Rosensen's in a super chat saying Will Ospreay is a human freaking video game. He has talent that is just magnificent. It's magnificent. I don't know what to say. I love Will Ospreay. Thank you to Brandon for also sending in this super chat. All right, guys, that is it, everybody. That is our show. I really want to thank you guys so much for those of you who tuned in to chat about everything that went down here tonight. If you did have a good time, if this was your first time watching the show, please let me know what you guys thought. Send me a tweet or something. I always like when people promote the show because I get to see what you guys think of the show, and then I get to go about things that way and change things, switch things up, incorporate certain things. I love your feedback. And I do always retweet you guys as long as you tag me and I see it, obviously. But please leave some comments in the comment section below. Give this video a like. It really helps out with the algorithm. Follow me on Twitter @ Denise Salcedo. I am super active, and I also have an all-out giveaway right now. If you want to watch the all-out pay-per-view for free, already over 1,000 people have entered, but you never know. It might just be your lucky opportunity. You are more than welcome to enter. And then next week, I am going to be doing another giveaway, another all-out giveaway. So I'm going to be doing 2 back-to-back. The other one's going to have a couple of extra things, but regardless, still 2 back-to-back AEW all-out pay-per-view giveaways. So please go and enter those and, all of that good stuff. Other than that, subscribe to F4W Online. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I'll see you guys later. Bye, everyone.